What's up guys? Welcome to AnimeKouhai. If you'd like to help me out, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel.
While it was up to Rimuru and his allies to handle Velzard and Milim, Sarion was clearly a critical defensive position. The fact that it was under attack proved its importance. Eliminating the enemy generals before Milim and the others arrived was crucial. Only then could they focus entirely on curbing Milim's rampage. Direct confrontation with Milim and Velzard would be suicide, but it might be possible to divert them and minimize the damage. Leon couldn't allow them to head toward El Dorado or threaten humanity's heartlands.
Perhaps leading them to the barren lands is the best option.
Though he felt a pang of guilt toward de Gruel, Leon concluded that this was the most viable plan. He couldn't afford to let his focus waver.
Exploiting Milim's rampage like this, how clever of Feldway.
Leon pointed the tip of his blade toward Zalario, his voice cold as he spoke. His combat style, rooted in fencing, showcased his mastery of precise, piercing attacks. Some might dismiss fencing as a sport rather than a combat technique, but they were mistaken. The thrust was among the most powerful sword techniques. However, it came with great risk. Missing a strike could leave one vulnerable, posture collapsed and defenses exposed. Leon's swordsmanship overcame the inherent risks of his technique. Much like Sylvia's spear style, Leon paired his mastery with high-speed movements to avoid being cornered or countered by his opponents. Leon's greatest strength lay in his unmatched speed. Armed with the mythical-grade weapon Flame Pillar, he discarded traditional defenses like his gold circle shield during serious battles. Instead, he combined his blistering speed with precise, single-point strikes to maximize his effectiveness. This unique approach earned him the title of the Flash Hero. Additionally, Leon wielded the ultimate skill, Purity King Metatron, which granted him control over Spiritrons. This allowed him to execute devastating, disintegration attacks in rapid succession, a power few could withstand. It was this extraordinary combination of abilities that solidified Leon's reputation as one of the strongest. While Zalario surpassed Leon in terms of raw existence value, when it came to combatability, Leon's efficiency allowed him to hold his own. A warrior can recognize another warrior's strength, and Zalario was no exception. He respected Leon's skill.
They mentioned targeting Veldora's dragon factor, but I can't make sense of their plans. Velzard's actions are unpredictable, and frankly, I'd like some answers.
His words carried genuine frustration. Zalario himself hadn't been given any explanation for the larger strategy. His orders to attack Sarion came directly from Feldway, and Jahil, who also had his own ambitions involving Ruminas, was included in the operation.
There must be a reason they're willing to go to such extremes to claim this land.
Fighting without understanding the reasoning behind it felt hollow. While low-ranking soldiers might accept their role as mere cogs in the machine, Zalario found this treatment demeaning for someone in his position. However, under Michael's control, he had no choice but to comply. With Michael's disappearance, though, Zalario had begun analyzing the system bit by bit, nearing the point where he could finally break free. For now, he had no obligation to explain his motives, so he shifted the focus.
So, Leon, are you planning to entertain me? Or perhaps you, skulking behind me, want to join in? Shall I take on both of you at once?
Zalario glanced toward Benimaru, who stood back without making a move. It wasn't that Benimaru underestimated Zalario, rather, he appeared to be strategically managing his forces. Even so, this could be perceived as underestimating them, though Zalario didn't care. Bound by orders, he chose to overlook it. Soi, meanwhile, understood that Zalario was far more cautious than Jahil. While Jahil's sheer existence value posed a significant threat, Benimaru had determined Zalario to be the bigger challenge. Soi shared that assessment. Instead of attempting a surprise attack, Soi positioned himself to support Leon directly.
There's no time for subtlety here. I don't have the luxury to play fair, so I'll do whatever it takes to secure victory.
Soi confidently announced his willingness to employ any tactic necessary. Leon had no objections. Winning was all that mattered, there was no point in fighting fair if it meant losing. And so, the battle began, with Leon taking the lead and Soi backing him up. Against Jahil, a coordinated three-pronged assault was underway. Sylvia attacked with lightning-quick spear strikes using her Vajra, while Kagali provided ranged support by firing magicule bullets. These bullets, refined and launched using the Ruined Scepter, were both precise and powerful. At the forefront, Teare acted as the decoy, drawing Jahil's attention. Despite the danger, Teare showed no fear. Her entire being burned with anger, driven by the memory of Footman.
I hate you. Just die already.
Shut your mouth, you worthless pests swarming together. Don't make me laugh.
You're the annoying one here.
Teare snapped back, hurling her scythe like a boomerang. The weapon, a gift from the ogre craftsman Karabe before her departure, exuded an ominous aura that suggested it was at least legendary grade, if not mythical. Teare instinctively recognized it as superior to her old, broken scythe. This new weapon, dubbed the Teare Scythe, carried profound meaning. Karabe had explained that it was designed to reap tears, not lives. Teare found the name fitting. It was the perfect tool to bring her grief to an end. The Teare Scythe sliced through the air toward Jahil, moving with an almost sentient precision. At the same moment, Teare enhanced her physical abilities, closing the distance between them in an instant. She drove a devastating punch into Jahil's chest, then swiftly retreated to catch the scythe as it spun back into her grasp. Effortlessly, she returned to her defensive stance, shielding Kagali. This seamless execution was possible only because of her unique skill, Manipulator, which gave her precise control over her movements. Teare's other unique skill, Optimist, was unusual, activating only under the vaguely specific condition of when she receives an order. This limitation stemmed from Teare's somewhat fragile and carefree personality. However, things changed dramatically after she received a fragment of Clayman, a crucial information particle, forming the essence of his heart core. This transformation gave Teare newfound strength. She resolved to protect Kagali in the absence of Laplace, who had disappeared, and Footman, who had been overtaken. In a pivotal moment, a voice reached out to Teare.
If you accept, power will be yours.
The voice was a remnant left by someone no longer present, pre-programmed to activate when Teare sought strength of her own accord. Though gaining this power came at a cost, it was a price that had already been paid. Teare's abilities had been thoroughly analyzed and deemed safe. Similarly, Clayman's residual power was assessed to be harmless. The integration of the two was crafted with care, enhancing Teare's abilities to their fullest potential while she remained an ally.
I'll take anything you're offering. I need to get stronger.
Without hesitation, Teare accepted. The transformation within her was swift and quiet. Her unique skill, Optimist, merged with the Manipulator skill reproduced from Clayman's essence, evolving into the ultimate enchantment, Optimistic Performer Orpheus. The entire process was orchestrated by someone, Seal. Thus, Teare's transformation was complete, born anew through her own determination.
I get it now, Clayman. We have to protect Kagali-sama.
With this vow, Teare's strength surged to life. It was as though the spirit of her lost friend stood beside her, offering support. The once overwhelming existence value of 2,400,000, which had seemed too great for her to manage, now felt like a mere stepping stone. By doubling the energy required at each critical moment, Teare had shed her fear of Jahil's superiority. Jahil, however, was far from pleased.
Don't mock me, you puppet freak!
Furious, Jahil hurled a massive fireball at them. While Sylvia's incredible speed made escape possible for her, Kagali and Teare had no way to avoid the attack. The devastating blow should have obliterated their souls. Yet, to Jahil's shock, their figures flickered, vanishing and reappearing a short distance away.
What? You two don't have that kind of power? What did you just do?
Confused but determined, Jahil launched another fireball, this time more carefully aimed. The trick, one that Zalario would have seen through instantly, was deceptively simple. Benimaru had shielded Kagali and Teare using his heat haze. Jahil, having faced Benimaru's tactics many times before, quickly realized the truth on his second attempt.
You insolent fools!
In a fit of rage, Jahil unleashed a barrage of fireballs toward Kagali and her allies, letting his emotions dictate his actions. This impulsiveness played directly into Benimaru's strategy. Although Benimaru hadn't confronted Jahil head-on, he had thoroughly analyzed Jahil's behavior and tendencies, allowing him to guide Kagali and the others with precise advice.
Here is my chance.
With those words, Sylvia's spear found its mark, striking Jahil. Though the attack wasn't fatal, it left Sylvia with a sense of satisfaction, and Kagali felt the same. Having lost the ultimate enchantment, Domination King Melchizedek, a power once bestowed by Michael but later seized by Yuki, Kagali was now free. This newfound freedom allowed her to refine her unique skill, Schemer, a skill deeply rooted in her essence, elevating it to a level approaching near ultimate status. However, even Kagali, as skilled as she was, faced limits as a non-divine being. Unlike Seal, who could manipulate abilities effortlessly, Kagali lacked such extraordinary capabilities. She had encountered this stark difference during what she thought was a dream. A voice resonated clearly in her mind.
If you desire it, I can grant you power.
This enigmatic offer came to her while she slept. Of course, it was Ciel's handiwork. Operating with near omnipotence within the labyrinth, Seal had initiated this conversation deep within Kagali's subconscious rather than in a mere dream. A contract was proposed. Seal would optimize Kagali's abilities, but in return, Kagali could never turn her newfound power against Rimuru. Even in the event of betrayal, Seal would retain control of the power, a clever arrangement that served both practical and personal interests for Seal. Depending on perspective, one might see it as a deal heavily skewed in Ciel's favor. But for Kagali, hungry for strength, the offer was irresistible. She accepted, believing it to be nothing more than a dream and failing to suspect any deception. Normally cautious, this misstep didn't bother Kagali much, as she had no intention of antagonizing Rimuru anyway. When Kagali awoke, she became acutely aware of the power now coursing through her. She grasped its essence and understood that it was completely hers.
Give me back my footman.
Invoking her new strength, Kagali activated the ultimate enchantment, Book of Prophecy Agastia. This ability allowed her to anticipate Jahil's movements as though she could glimpse into the future. The combined efforts of Benimaru's strategic insight, Kagali's foresight, Sylvia's precise attacks, and Teare's unrelenting determination resulted in a coordinated assault that left Jahil struggling to keep up.
A big thanks to the AnimeKouhai patrons who made this video possible. Jared Bressler, Havox, Speed Saber, Curtis Loban, Judah Herrera, Just a Guy, Miss L.W. Hernandez, Jason Martin, Zach Rosen, Jerry Sladek, Ray Perez, Jay, Donald Williams, Day of Light, John M, Godman Gaming, Markithian Tidwell, Adrian, Kumo, T. Bush, JV, Thomas, Christ, Joshua Cousins, Jose Hernandez, Khalid, Christian Deshazer, Divine C. Harris, Montyboy 98, Ruben, Yuki Iki, Gray, Isaac, Koala King 93, Quilly Buckner, Alver, Darius King, Normal Defate, Vicente Baharias, Joshua Andrade, L, Gary Miles, Dragon Spawn 666, J. Rule, Nate, Leiron Sangkap, Lucas Guet, Jason Martin, Christopher Mash, Charles Bailey, Sky T, Diego Ginoza, Andre Hamilton, Martin Ramos, Guy Ensley, Simon Rode, Emperor WSA, Miko Espinosa, Gobi Lin, Pratik Bandari, Faiz Mansour, Jackson Early, Smexy, Carl Stephen Bernadal, Gareth Hashimoto, Steven Madison, Vasto Lord, Marl Barsha, Ralph Ignacio, Efrain Hernandez, William Locke, Kamal Luke, Jahid Hassan Lipu, Spencer Candila, Ian Sikibiol, Thana Cornley Sawat, KACP9R, The Harv, Drayden Yamauchi, Alex Buthanu, Michael Brinkley, Nathan Alexander, Mario Kanoy, Karam Faraj. Thank you so much for helping out. I'll see you guys in the next video.